Hello viewers, welcome to educators.com. This is Venkatramana Gandhi. In the last session, we were discussing about the other storage options. In this session, we are going to discuss about SQLite database and how to store the relational data in our Android. So here we'll discuss what is SQLite, what are the differences between SQLite and other data storage. So how to create a database and how to create a table inside a database. So here SQLite database is used to store the structural data, to store relational data. So example, the students of university, okay. So their details or maybe employee details of an MNC company where we'll have huge data for that, where everything is structural compulsory. It's like what the structure is predefined with the serial number, first name, last name, employee ID, joining date, years of experience, skill set, salary, so location, something like that. So this is a predefined structure. For every employee, these details will be there. So that is the structure of the data is up. Whenever you want to store a structural data, we use SQLite database. In SQLite database in our Android, we have two key classes. One is SQLite Open Helper, another one is SQLite Database. This SQLite Open Helper will allow us to create database and how to manage it and about your version management as well. So version management is nothing but for every application there will be versions like the first version, second version, third version, something like that. The same way here, the database will also have version. And next, SQLite database class which exposes the method to manage our database. Like the methods are insert, create, delete, execute your SQL queries, and to perform under the general database tasks. And here and in our Android SQLite database, so do not support like inner join or outer join, something like very few concept of SQLite. And this is completely lightweight version designed for the low level memory footprints. And now let us see what is the difference between the SQLite and all. So the major difference is called as the data typing. So means in SQL, if you have, I hope all of you might remember that. So creating a stable statement in our SQL is like what? Create table name within the braces will write all the column IDs. So assume that here we are going to discuss a small example here like ID, name, email ID. The first one is like what? ID, the primary key. The next name. So we'll set this as varchar2 in SQL and assume this is your phone number. So here in my case it is email, but assume that is phone number. So where you will take a long or something else. So means when you set something with a type, these columns will accept only those type of data. But in our Android, irrespective of the data type definition, so you provided in your create table statement, we can put whatever the data in whatever the column we want. So that is called as manifest typing. So in manifest typing, what will be happen? The data type is the property of the column itself. That's it. Okay, I mean property of the value itself. So not of a column which the value is stored. So means irrespective of the data type, so you can put whatever the data so in whatever column, regardless of that particular column, declare a type for that. So that is called as data typing and manifest typing. So now let us see how to create a database in our Android. So for that, the preferred method by our Android is like create a subclass for your SQLite Open Helper, and inside your onCreate method, write your execute SQL statement where this is going to have your create table statement. And we have a possible methods to write something to the database is like get writable database. Another method to read the data from the database, that is get readable database, and a query method which will return the query of the data. So nothing but cursor. The cursor is going to navigate the results from the database. So where like rows or columns, it is going to read the data from the rows and columns displayed. Example, as all of we go through the basic example of employees. So I would like to know the details of the employees who are earning more than 15K or 20K. So there will be a where class that is going to perfect. And if you want to read all the data, we use select a star from table table name where salary is greater than 15K. But I don't want to read all of that data. I want only name and phone number. So select the column IDs like what? Select name, phone number from table name, whatever that particular where class it is. The where class is like condition is like what? Where the salary is greater than 15K. So that is going to read only those two columns. That is called as a cursor in our Android. So here we are going to discuss a small example as part of this as a hands-on. So we are going to create a table with ID, name and email ID. So this ID is your the primary integer key and the name is the name of the employee and email ID of an employee. So here we'll define the schema. So create all the constant values. So like public static final values for each and everything. The database version is defaultly we are taking it as 1. The database name it as employees.db and the database table inside the database is like employees underscore data and these are all the column definitions. Key ID is equals to ID if you see observe here and the key name is equals to name, key email is equals to email ID. So this is how we define the schema and even we'll write the create table statement in our onCreate method by calling so db execute SQL statement which is going to take your create table statement. So for that also we have created a static final value. So where this is going to be have your database create method, the same query create table name is our database table and the columns key id where it is an integer primary key auto increment. Next column is key name that was my column name and that is the type text. Key email is also type text and you just execute that using execute SQL statement. Now let us start a new project. Go to file, new project, name it as SQLite Database and change your company name to educators and the project location is going to be educators project. Click on OK. So next and finish. It will start our project. Project is about to build. The project has built successfully. Now the first step as we discussed, create a subclass for your SQLite Open Helper class. So that is I'm going to define that as a database helper class like a DB helper. So right click on your package name, go to new, create a Java class, name it as DB helper. So where I'm going to define all of my so database schema like what database name, definition, create table and all your the possible methods what we are going to implement in the future. So click on OK and what we should do, we should extend the base class like SQLite Open Helper. So immediately it will throw an error. So implement the methods. There are two methods as we discussed earlier, on create and on upgrade. So click on OK and again there will be an error like we have to create a constructor matching super. So click on this SQLite Open Helper. So that is the DB helper and where it is going to have your context string name of the database and the cursor factory and all. Okay. So now I'm going to match with my super just to I'm going to remove all unnecessary argument definition. Yeah. So now the context is fine. Next one is the name of the database and all. So I have not yet defined any of my so database name version and all. So now let us start working on that. So like private static final. So the database version is an integer. So name it as like database underscore version. So the database version is equals to an integer value. As of now, I'm taking it as a 1, database version 1. And the next, same, create all the final values for each and every database and database table creation and all of your column IDs. So static final, so string, I'm going to take my database name, database underscore name is equals to, what does the name we have fixed for? Employees dot tb and with semicolon. So like this, I would like to create more string values for our database table. Okay. The next one is database table. I'll say that as employees data. So employees underscore data, and inside database there are three columns for me. So same as usual, I'm going to give it, I'm taking them as keys. So key ID, the first element. So I'm going to take it as an ID. So just copy the same and try for two more. If you have 10, you have to create 10. So presently I have only 3. The next one is my name. This is going to be name. So this will be displayed in your table database. Key email. So that is going to be email. Say this now. Just what is the name? Database name. So just give database name. So presently I'm not dealing with any cursor factory and all. Just pass null. And the next one is like what database version. So just go with the database version. So it's all done. Now in your onCreate method, we are going to execute our SQL statement. So, but I did not create any table create statement now. So just create your statement as well, table create statement. So what I'll say, database underscore table underscore create. I'm going to create my database table. So as usual, we know what it is, create table statement. So create table, the table name must come, but already I have defined the final value. So just I should concatenate here. See, please be careful. So always remember the places between your plus and your within your quotation marks, there must be places. So when the space bar is must and should, you have to type a space. So this is, I should start with create table, table name, that is your database table. So where we'll start with your parenthesis. Within this we'll write it. So we should provide inside this. Again add the next column. Okay. So what is that? Key ID comma plus. What is the type of this? It is the type text. So just give that as a text. Primary key, auto increment. Now the second one, within the quotations. So next, second column. As usual, the second column, the key name plus within the quotations, we should provide our name type. Simple text I am giving it, and you must take care of the plus. And now finally, that is key email. So here I'm going to give that as a text and with semicolon. So here I might have missed something, unexpected token. So and with semicolon. So just let me check once. Create table, table name within your brackets, and yeah, so it's going good. So it is saying this unexpected token, and after this we should put comma. Next here also next comma. So the next statement will be called. So everything is going good. So the database creation table is already done. Okay. So now inside our onCreate method, we should execute a statement of a SQL database. So just create SQL database dot db execute SQL. So this is execute SQL. What is your string SQL statement? That is database table create. So which is going to be called, and on upgrade, so you should drop the table. Okay, on upgrade, what should be happen? So drop. So we should execute a query here as usual. So drop table if exists. What table it is? Database table. So this is also a query. So just take your SQLite DB database dot execute SQL. The query statement here inside this. So just double quotations. Drop table if exists. Which table if it exists? With your corresponding database table. So if this table is exists, it will drop it and it will create it. On create, so your DB. Save this. Now, so come to your main activity. Create an object of your DB helper class. So let us say DB helper. Come here to your on create. DB helper is equals to new DB helper. Pass a context here and with semicolon save this and run your application. It will show you the available virtual devices. Click on OK. So it is installing the APK file, launching the window. Yeah, the application has launched successfully. Now to check whether our application has created the database properly, our SQL database is created properly or not, we should open your Android device monitor. It will ask us to close all the sessions, debugging sessions. So close this. It will take some time to launch your virtual device, sorry, Android device monitor. So please wait for that. So to check whether the database has been created or not, as we discussed in our earlier session, open your Android device monitor, go to data, again data, find your package name, and whenever you see databases folder, that indicates that you have successfully execute that particular command. So our database name is employees DB. So just pull this out to check whether our table has been created or not. So select this out and store it somewhere on your desktop. So save. If you want to see this, whether it is available or not, so the possible option is like you can get your SQL Manager extension for the Mozilla Firefox, which is easy to use, or else we have SQLite browser software also. So just get your SQLite browser software. So here is my SQLite browser software. Just it's a simple runnable file. double click and open the file which we just get. So click on open database, go to desktop, and the database name is employees DB. Click on OK, and you can see, right, employees underscore data table is there. Create table, table name, ID integer primary key auto increment, like this. Okay, if you want to really see the column names and all, go to the browse data option and check your table name employees underscore data. So here the columns are ID, name, and email. So this is how we'll create a database and the table inside our database. In the next session, we'll discuss about how to insert the data into this database and what are the methods we have to follow and all. Okay. Thanks for watching educators.com. Let's catch up in the next session.